What is it then that you want people to take away from a Steven Spielberg film as they go out through the doors and hit the streets again? What do you want them to be feeling and thinking?
Well, just that, you know, that they should figure out how much they spent on the movie and was it worth it.
Were you conscious that you were changing things, that you were part of a new wave or not?
No, not at the time. The public wants to see a story, and a story told well.
You are not ashamed to make a movie that the vast public enjoys.
Yeah, I'm not ashamed to make a movie that people go to and enjoy and go to a second time.
But in recent days, a cloud has appeared on the horizon of this beautiful resort community. A cloud in the shape of a killer shark.
I've always been afraid of the water, and I was just fascinated with that phobia people have, that when you're swimming around in the water, you can't see below the waterline.
I thought I could scare people with just the ocean line and just the mystery of what's under the murky water, but also...
You know what your hands are doing, but you don't know what your legs are up to down there. You don't know what's swimming around them, and that's how this film feeds on your fear.
And just set up a kind of projected paranoia from Roy Scheider's position in his straight-back beach chair.
Chief Brody, you are uptight.
He knows there's a shark out there. He knows that there's something swimming out there that's as large as a station wagon. Chief Brody's nightmares are filled in that one moment.
We're not only going to have to close the beach, we're going to have to hire somebody to kill the shark.
You're going to need a bigger boat.
You know, sharks became very fashionable because of your movie.
You're going to need a bigger boat, right?
Jaws made millions as it terrified swimmers all over the world.
Still pretty wheezy from the movie.
I'm not going to go in that deep anymore.
Now, the success of Jaws led to a situation where you could do anything you wanted, really.
Well, up to a point.
This one is a really great movie. It's a non-stop roller coaster ride of thrilling adventures, weird characters, daring exploits, and cliffhanging close calls.
Well, George Lucas came up with the basic story.
And he was talking to me about how he wanted to do a James Bond movie.
He told me the story just because I said I wanted to make a James Bond movie someday.
George said, well, don't waste your time because I've got something better than that.
I got a better film than James Bond.
He said, this is better than Bond. It's called Raiders of the Lost Ark. It wasn't a fleshed out story. It was kind of a concept of this archaeologist guy, this adventurer.
Part of the original idea of putting in the 30s and everything was that Hitler was also very interested in supernatural artifacts.
Would you be more comfortable opening the Ark in Berlin?
Well, the Nazis are the personification of evil.
So if you have an archaeologist that's going after supernatural artifacts and you know that Hitler is doing the same thing, it gives you a ready antagonist who everybody understands is very deadly.
I love the moment where the monkey goes Heil Hitler.
Nazis. I hate these guys.
So I thought, hey, wouldn't it be cool if Indiana Jones, you know, is like in this room with 2,000 snakes?
Why do you have to be snakes?
I hate snakes, Doc! I hate them!
Bugs, snakes, rats, it's all the same to me.
You go through some things in this movie that I don't think I'd care to. I mean, there are things that go bump in the night. Bugs crawling all over you in this thing.
Well, that was the trade-off.
So we wanted one that was completely out of her element, was not at home in the jungle, was not an outdoor person.
The place is completely surrounded. The entire place is crawling with living things.
That's why they call it the jungle, sweetheart.
As Indiana Jones, being a hero and being an action figure, not just being a guy who takes the whip and goes like this.
Just do the whole whip fight and sword fight and everything in here.
It's just another day at the office.
Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom is a totally different adventure with Indiana Jones, played by Harrison Ford, repeating his role from Raiders of the Lost Ark.
I think he's an unpredictable character.
Well, I became quite comfortable on the rope bridge, which was an actual rope bridge over an actual chasm.
There was a 1,000-foot gorge, a drop to the rocks below, and I have acrophobia. I hate heights, and I never once went across the bridge.
I remember that both George and Stephen were very leery of it.
Indiana Jones represents the hero that I've always wanted to be, and the hero that none of us will ever be.
Raiders of the Lost Ark and its 2 sequels grossed well over $1 billion.
There was never a dull moment in the movie.
We need more movies like this, complete escapism, and you can still have fun and laugh.
I want to go in there and see snakes running up your leg and all sorts of fun things like that.
Now, Close Encounters is perfect for the end of the 70s and the 80s. It's a very wistful, very friendly, longing look at alien life.
We always treated the people in the flying saucers as if they were Russians or Chinese, and we had bombs and guns to greet them, and this time we just greet them with open arms.
Lieutenant, welcome home.
It shows a very interesting change in attitude.
I'm the kind of person who has to have a close encounter myself.
Because look at how nice his films are. I mean, just they're nice.
You feel good at the end. It doesn't have the horror or the monster or the thing with 16 tentacles or the Spider-Man or something.
And I love the film a lot. I love what it said and what it suggested.
They're about love. They're about wonder. They're about, you know, good things. They're not about rotten, awful things. And that's because that's what Steven responds to.
And the picture has a awfully nice message. Don't be afraid of the unknown. Seek it out.
Tonight is one of the most popular science fiction films of all time.
A record of $35 million in 10 days.
It's taken in $700 million.
And had already produced Jaws, an all-time box office champion.
You're the maker of Jaws, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Indiana Jones.
Close Encounters, Back to the Future, all big box office hits.
A movie that picked up $112 million in film rentals.
Of the top 10 money-making films of all time, you've made at least half.
So how is Hollywood handling people like yourself?
Well, they kind of reject people like me and Francis and George. I have a very strange relationship with Hollywood.
Do you believe in ghosts? Noise is the mortal enemy of good motion picture making and television broadcasting.
Because I don't really think that I'm considered part of the old Hollywood fabric.
I mean, are you conscious of the fact there are people out there who think, oh, Spielberg's been successful too long, it's time he failed, let's help him fail?
Oh, sure, absolutely. But I felt that on my first couple of films.
Do you find you're under tremendous pressure now from the money man to top your last performance?
I'm under pressure. It's my individual choice not to listen to the pressure or feel the pressure and make what I want to make as a filmmaker.
Everybody suggested I quit after Jaws. They said, no movie will ever make this much money. And I kept saying, but don't you realize that I might make a picture that makes no money? You know, all it took was Jaws to be this big hit in 1975, and then there were some people who went after Close Encounters of the Third Kind as if I murdered their entire families.
A hot summer day at Carolina Beach, North Carolina. A small town that needs tourists to economically survive.
The film has put tourist promoters in a snappish mood, however.
While tourism is booming in the North Carolina mountains, it is slumping here. And as one of them put it, sharks aren't the problem, Jaws is.
I have doubts about myself in both worlds.
Thinking that you can't pull it off?
Yeah.
When you make movies, do you want to know what other people think of them?
I care desperately what other people think of them, and because I care so much, I sometimes hold my ears and close my eyes when it comes time to hear what other people think of them. There hasn't been a film I've gone into, you know, with courage. That's another one of my fears. You know, the fear of approval and the fear of disapproval.
Even though we read with Steven Spielberg when you went in to do Hook that he felt that the
Steven Spielberg I find quite confused. I find him to be unfortunately not as good at remembering the time that we spent together as I am.
I just think it's the nature of the business. Some people tend to be more creative writing negative, vitriolic sentences as opposed to writing, you know, glowing reports.
I never had moments, trouble, sorrow, reflection, anything on the set of Hook.
And my feeling is everybody has a right to, you know, to their opinion. You know, we've got our knives sharpened because this better be the greatest thing anybody's ever made or you're going to go down in flames.
But even one of the world's most successful directors is entitled to a few flops.
1941 had just gone down in flames.
Spielberg spent $30 million making 1941, an over-budget sophomoric attempt at comedy. The film was considered an artistic and financial flop by both critics and moviegoers, and marked his first, and so far only, crashing failure.
It bombed a year and a half ago very badly with 1941.
I was low. I was depressed. I was not feeling good. I felt invincible. And I think, in a sense, at that point in my life, the best thing that could have happened to me was the drubbing that 1941 got both from the critics and the public. And I learned the greatest lessons of my career just from the experience of 1941.
What would be a bad review for Steven Spielberg? What would be the worst thing somebody could say about your film?
I think boring, the word boring would be the worst review I could ever get, because I hate that word.
Critics have called some of your movies sentimental. Are you sentimental?
Mm-hmm. I am. I have my own little philosophy about that, you know.
Which is?
Well, when the movie's over, as we say in America, you know, that's when the fat lady sings.
Some of your critics have blamed you for contributing to the escalating cost. They say they now have to keep aiming for Spielberg-sized hits.
But do you think the industry is becoming more commercial and less creative?
Sadly, yeah. The average movie today is $25 million, the average film. I believe about 6 years ago it was $15 million. I mean, the multiplication table of what films are going to cost 10 years from now is going to mean that Hollywood will be out of control in that they won't be able to give audiences grand entertainment anymore. But Empire of the Sun I could have made 15 years ago for about $3.5 million to $4 million. In 1987, Empire cost $35 million. It's preventing films like that from really getting made today, and they're all going to be dinosaurs someday. That's what's scary. That's why there's tension in the air. Every film has to succeed, or corporations fail.
Carter was known as UFO president because he actually talked about his sighting. A UFO group had contacted him, wrote him a letter and said, could you fill out our sighting report? Jimmy Carter filled out the sighting report, and the rest is history.
Well, Carter himself said the incident happened in October of 1969.
Well, your own President Carter reported a UFO sighting.
I never have tried to identify what I saw. It was, a light in the western sky. It was very unique. I never seen it before. So there were about 20 of us who saw it.
Do you take it seriously?
I do take it seriously. I really do. I don't know if I believe that UFOs are extraterrestrial.
Ronald Reagan was flying in an airplane and had an encounter with an unidentified flying object.
If suddenly there was a threat to this world from some other species, from another planet.
Reagan is enthusiastic about this. When he lands, he says, I just saw a UFO.
But what if it were creatures coming here and meeting us for the first time? We wouldn't receive them on the White House lawn.
Do you really believe that there are friendly, intelligent beings other than those on Earth? Or is it just a good idea for a film?
I think there are friendly, intelligent beings here on Earth.
Mom, there's some out there. It's in the tool shed. They threw the ball at me.
That whatever is out there has to be friendly, and I wanted to bring it closer to Earth. It should be celebrated. It should be the 4th of July.
What drew you to E.T.?
Just loneliness.
You often said that your films reflect and to some extent, I think, exorcise your own childhood.
Lost in a divorce, no real friends in his life. And that was the bonding of E.T. and Elliot, the alien and the alienated.
Kids don't bring in stuff from outside to use. It all comes from inside. It's fascinating to watch a kid work.
I'm keeping him.
Director Steven Spielberg again brings his unique touch with children to this film.
At age 34, Spielberg is a child at heart.
I identify with children. I still am a child.
Can you talk?
I have a lot of empathy and understanding of what it is like to be a kid. Yeah, we were all kids. We were all basically the same age.
Grown-ups can't see him. Only little kids can see him.
I'm this weird kid that makes movies.
I would imagine you're very much a dreamer too, aren't you? I mean, quite clearly there are all kinds of fantasies and stories going on in your head all the time.
My mind instantly goes to stories that are removed from the real world, you know, because I've always wanted to escape.
What is the most
magical or the most unusual gift you ever received?
Probably the most magical gift I ever received for me was my first bicycle.
How can the rest of us preserve that childishness in ourselves?
I'd like to call it a kind of, blind optimism about things.
Opening here in Australia next month, E.T., the Extraterrestrial.
The star of Spielberg's latest movie.
Already one of the most successful movies of all time.
The #1 box office success of all time.
What do you think about all these people? You think they're going to like the movie?
I hope so.
I remember when President Reagan invited me to come to the White House to show E.T., and I just remember sneaking peeks at the president who was sitting directly next to me on my right, and how the president's face became very childlike. His mouth was open, his eyes were wide, and I suddenly saw a 10-year-old boy sitting next to me. But in a way, looking at Reagan's face, the most powerful leader of the free world, having that kind of a reaction, I kind of went, hey man, film's pretty powerful, isn't it?
It's the most personal movie, perhaps with the exception of Close Encounters, that we have received from you.
It's human, in a sense. It's certainly sentient. We like it. We love it. The kid likes it. There's a relationship.
I just want to say goodbye.
It's very moving.
E.T. is a cinematic version of his pleasant dreams, his happy fantasies, while the other film that he released this summer represents his nightmares.
Do you ever feel that you're in danger of being remembered at a future date, not so much for the films, but for the money you make? Is that a fear of yours?
Well, I think I've always worried about that.
Spielberg and the success of most films in Hollywood these days, I think, is down to the fact they're comforting.
There's a rut you can fall into in Hollywood, which is a terrible label, and that is you're only as good as your last picture.
But they're comforting. They give you answers, always. The films are answers.
And I think a lot of the backlash, which often happens on very, very successful pictures, began to hit us right around December, right around nomination and voting time. And I think it took its toll.
One criticism that's been made of you is that you don't deal with, quote, serious subjects. Do you plan to change that in the future?
Spielberg is now nurturing a more serious project, an adaptation of Thomas Keneally's Schindler's Ark.
And I didn't ever think about, when I was making Jaws or Close Encounters or Raiders of the Lost Ark, I was never thinking about telling a story of the show.
Why did you want to make this film?
Well, that's a hard question because I asked myself that. I've been asking myself that for a long time. There's not just one really wonderful, easy answer to that. I think there is being a Jew and having lost relatives in the concentration camps. And I was the only Jew in the neighborhood, the only Jew in the elementary school, and I had problems. I was different. I was, the last kid to be chosen for the softball team, the last kid to be chosen for the touch football team, the last kid to be chosen for basically everything, including badminton. But you're open to pain and to embarrassment and to ridicule.
Is that movie your proudest accomplishment to date?
Yes.
Today is history, and you are part of it.
This is the product of a number of years of regaining my pride in being a Jew.
Schindler's List made $321 million, but Spielberg refused to keep any of the profits. Calling it blood money, he donated the proceeds to Jewish causes.
And the movies are simply a reflection of who you happen to be on that particular month when that film's released. I like to look back at the 80s and say, well, E.T. was who I was in 1982. That's not necessarily who I am in 1990 anymore. I didn't have the courage to tell serious stories for quite a while, almost for a decade, because my stories about adventure and romance and science fiction were so popular. I was almost afraid to jump off the good ship Lollipop while it was still sailing high in the water. I no longer have that sense of adventure. There's a different kind of challenge in my life now that fascinates me more than just the fantasy adventure.
And it really changed people's perception of you, fairly or unfairly. Steven Spielberg, there's more to him.
You said just a few minutes ago that you'd moved away a little bit from the kind of films that you used to make. Does that mean that you are no longer making the films that Steven Spielberg, the teenager, would have liked? Because I think that was one of the great reasons for your success. You made the films that you'd have liked when you were young. Are you not doing that anymore?
Well, I think I'm living more of a schizophrenic life now. I'm making those films that I still remember as a child and the kind of films that I would like to see as an audience.